So this is one of those videos where I literally have no idea what I'm going to talk about, and I've just sat down in this place next to the stream. You can see there in the background, a nice little spot, and I've just pressed record, and we're going to find out what happens. I can just see a lovely little bug here on a twig. Hang on a second. There's the little fella. Caught my eye. I'm no expert in bugs. Is it a beetle of some sort? Or just keep with the generic term bug. I think it's safer, but so he's just there. Maybe he's going to listen along to see what happens. That's a habit we have, anthropomorphizing animals as though that they're part of our experiencing structure and can listen along to the video. He's got a pure simplicity and presence that beats anything I'm going to say in this 10 minutes, and I'm still drawn to him as I'm calling him, giving him a gender straight away, and the idea that he's listening, of course. That's probably not the case. He's part of or they are part of the natural unfolding of what is in this moment, including what I may or may not say and the silences that arrive between the words that I speak. As I was setting off today, I just had a ping on my phone, and I've gained another new subscriber, and it makes me smile. We talked about this in a previous video about feeling good, and I can't deny that it feels good when the subscriber count goes up and the viewing figures go up. So I'm now on 57, and that feels great too. It seems just about the right number, as did 14 or 26 or 42. This feels just about right. That's not to say that I don't want the number to go up rather than down. If you want to find out a little bit more about getting sucked into the drama of numbers and figures and how that happens, obviously the same to me as it would to anybody else, then check out the video on feeling good. I can hear a wood pigeon in the background cooing away. And I'm just resting now in this present moment. We've talked in the past a lot about the present moment. And we've talked about the past and the future. And in some of the earlier videos I touched on that, and I think at that time I said I'd go into more detail maybe in the future. And so maybe that future now is here, and so I think I might go into those details now, in this present moment. And it's very odd, isn't it? We talk about the future and we talk about the past, but we're only ever in the present moment. And it seems to be linked with time. When we measure time, I'm looking here on my time on my phone, ticking away the number of minutes that this recording has been playing. 3 minutes, 21, 22, 23. So that's a digital marker of the time that seems to be passing. And we can spin that out into our lives, because that's the seconds, minutes. Our clocks measure small periods of time, seconds, minutes, hours. Then our calendars, days, weeks, months, and years. And this is this idea of that we are riding the ever-present crest of the now. This crest of this wave is moving forwards like an arrow, moving from the past into the future, and we are sort of perhaps carried along on the crest of this wave. And as the wave moves forwards, we tick over the seconds, minutes, days, weeks, months, years, decades, and we witness the change around us, the change in ourselves, in our bodies as we grow older. But what exactly is the present moment in terms of time? I talk about this in my book, No Path to Enlightenment, in a chapter called, unsurprisingly, Time. But it's very difficult to nail down the present moment in terms of the ticking clock, because no sooner is the present moment arrived that it's disappeared, and it seems to come from the future and disappear into the past, and it's very difficult to actually find the present moment, because we certainly can't stop time and say, right, this is the present moment, because the very act of saying that, it's then instantly in the past. 5 minutes 35, seconds 36, 37, 38. This is unrelenting. But that's a digital clock on my phone. When I look at the trees, or my friendly bug here, well, are they counting down the seconds, counting off seconds? Is there an awareness there of the passage of time? I very much doubt it. It seems as though to be human, to be conscious and self-aware, we create the perspective of time within our own minds, and then we mark it on the clocks and the calendars so that we can regulate our lives digitally, and we can connect and interact with other people, both in the immediate neighbourhood and the wider country and the world. So the digital regulation of time is important for coherence, for us to function in the world. But outside of that, coming back to the present moment, there seems a simplicity when I look out into nature that doesn't require those demarcations. It's just a natural flow. The changing of the seasons seem to happen. They're not imposed upon nature, they are nature. And that nature asks nothing of time. It simply is. The nature is in the eternal present. It doesn't have a subjective experience of time, or the present moment, or the past, or the future that get in the way of what is unfolding. The simplicity of just the natural world. We've talked about this before. When we immerse ourselves in that simplicity, then perhaps we have some freedom from that idea of time, that subjective demarcation of the present moment and the future, and how we have to be prepared for it, and the past and what we may have wished we did differently. That is the game in our mind that spins out a story of us that actually has very little to do with what's happening in front of us. It's a madness of a kind when one lives only in the past or only in the future, particularly if that past is guilt and regret and the future is fear and anxiety, which is unfortunately often the case for a lot of people. And so a lot of the ancient wisdom and current teachings are to find the present moment and to drop into that present moment, and nature can be a beautiful way into that immersive, pure sense of being present. And of course it helps if you aren't caught in your thoughts and in the racing mind, and you are actually able to let go of the constructed identity, the constructed self, the idea of needing to control and needing to plan and needing to work things out in one's own mind, with the awareness that we have limited time to do so. all that puts added pressure and is a story that overlays the actual unnatural beauty of just simply being. So if we come back to try and find what the present moment is in terms of time, is it a second? Does the present moment last a second? Is it half a second? Is it a hundredth of a second? These are meaningless phrases because we can cut time up into infinitely small amounts, but it's not the amount that defines the present moment. We can't impose a calculation on what is now, and we certainly can't talk our way into the now or decide to find it, because that present moment finds us. And it has more chance of doing that if we step aside and just allow ourselves to breathe in and relax into the present moment of just being alive. And in fact, our bodies, our physiology, our biology, all that can show us that reality, because it doesn't recognize the individual story, the self, the mind games that we spin out that are often unhelpful. Our own physiology, our own biology doesn't recognize that. It does live in the eternal present moment, just as nature, just as our friend the bug here. And that's what we have in common with what is around us, is the fact that we are also part of that biology, that evolving, flowing game of life, the ever unfolding manifestation of that one absolute underlying truth. So the best thing sometimes we can do is just quiet the mind and open up and welcome the silence.